as you can see, it's about celebration. We have environmental opportunities, that this time is a time for doing everything that we've done better than we've ever done it before. Here we have people who are giving us new ways of doing things, new products, new services. Through ecological thinking and the ecological value systems, we can live in a far better world with beautiful cities, beautiful houses, buildings, cars. The Ecologic Awards are about celebrating the world that can be. Each winner receives the blue Enviropedia egg. And some people say, why a blue egg? And it's like this. When you're down on the ground, the earth looks flat and it looks green. But when you elevate your viewpoint, you'll see that the earth is oval and it's blue. And that's what the awards are about. It's about elevating our viewpoint so that we can see further into the future a better world to live in. To come through and let's start the celebrations. Come through for lunch. Bring the tables. From here, I think let SABC3 take us forward as co-hosts through this evening. And as MC, we have none other than the presenter from Top Billing, Simba. Simba, if you join us on stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce our speaker, I'd like to introduce a video from Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Please turn your attention to the speaker.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers and children of God. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the Ecologic Awards hosted by the Enviropedia and SABC3. How I wish I could have been with you in person. The awards acknowledge extraordinary contributions by individuals, institutions, and public entities to stop the degradation of the world we share. For the past 4 years, the Ecologic Awards have rewarded those who swim against the tide and have been able to make a significant difference in our quest to create a more equitable and sustainable world. They embody an ecological mindset and value system that I fully support. Thank you, all of you who are working so hard against tremendous odds to build a better future. God bless you.
Now for our next award is the Climate Change Award, sponsored by the Department of Environmental Affairs. Now this is the government department primarily tasked with the huge responsibility of designing strategies to both mitigate and adapt to the challenges of climate change. And I'd like to invite the director stakeholder, Moses Randicheni, to help us with this award. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes to the stage.
I'm very pleased to deliver this message of appreciation to all of you who are gathered here today at this award ceremony. And thank you very much to Enviropedia and SABC3 for organizing these awards, as well as the entire activities that led to this. This is about empowering the people in the field of environment, and we appreciate that much. We obviously and certainly look forward to working with you more into the future. But yes, where we have been in the field of environment, encouraging all our people to ensure that our environment is taken care of is much appreciated. Whatever field you have been working on, whatever field you have been taking action on, be it water savings, be it actions against pollution of whatever sort, atmospheric and water, all those actions that have been taken contribute to carbon emission reductions. And indeed, this is much appreciated. Continue to act as you do, and in that way, you will be helping to protect our earth and our biodiversity, which is so important, being a source of life. These resources are natural and they are not infinite. So let's really continue to work together in protecting them. Lastly, thank you very much and congratulations to all the finalists who are to be awarded today. Keep up the good work. And thank you once again.
Thank you, Department of Environmental Affairs, for sponsoring this award. Now, these are the Merit Awards, and they're awarded to AfriSam, Earth Probiotics, Green Pop, and Fry's Family Foods. And the finalists of this award are Credible Carbon, Food and Trees for Africa, Pick n Pay, and Standard Bank. And the winner is, sir?
The winner is Pick n Pay.
Congratulations, Pick n Pay Carbon, get your award. Congratulations. What impresses most about these guys is their forward thinking. They set themselves ambitious, quantifiable targets and made them. They are actively involved with their employees and communities to change mindsets and values. Pick n Pay have greened their entire value chain, and above all, there is little financial gain in most projects. Congratulations, and thank you, Pick n Pay, for taking such an admirable, ecological approach to climate change throughout your entire organization. We applaud your ecological efforts, and what better way to show our appreciation and to give you this award. Let's give another round of applause.
Ecologic Awards, all the categories which are there, they talk to the mandate of the department. If you can look at the issue of climate change, the issue of wildlife protection, the issue of recycling, all of them, and a lot more, they are part and parcel of the departmental programs, and it's really good for us to have an organization which is a private sector organization pushing the mandate of the department and turning organizations and companies into ambassadors of the environment.
It's a great honor for Pick n Pay, especially being sponsored by the Department of Environmental Affairs. For us, it gives recognition for all the work done in the company in terms of adapting and making changes within the business to cope with climate change. And it's also important to show other businesses that whichever size you are, there is really opportunity, whether it's in your supply chain or within the business, that it's really important that everyone contributes and do something seriously to combat climate change.
Climate change, it's a problem in the whole world, and in a developing country like South Africa, the impact of natural disasters which are caused by emissions, they are going to be very severe, and we will appreciate to see companies, individuals, as well as public sector entities and parastatals coming on board to fight this problem, which if we don't tackle now, it will prove to be very difficult to deal with in the future.
These awards would not be possible without our sponsors. We are so grateful for the sponsors for facilitating this. And one of the sponsors is SABC3. And through them, we are getting this message more widely out through to Top Billing, 3 Talk with Nolene, Expresso. They're spreading the information for us, and really we couldn't have done it without the sponsors. So thank you, sponsors, so much for what you're doing for us.
Held at the cradle of humankind, Maropeng, the Ecologic Awards promote our power as everyday consumers to protect our planet and head off climate change by shopping ethically. The drive is to get us buying from organizations committed to reducing their environmental impact.
How did you go about selecting the nominees?
Well, thanks very much to SABC3. You know, we put it out through SABC3 saying, if you're an eco-warrior or eco-angel, or if you've got a product or service that's good for the environment, let us know. So we got a lot of entries.
Amongst the green superheroes and their alter eco-egos, we met producer Ntokozo Mbuli.
Why are they so important? These awards are so important because they play a big role in encouraging people, individuals, small groups, big organizations to play their part in the conservation of our planet. And it's always so great to see people and organizations being celebrated for doing good and encouraging others to do the same.
It's really important that an award like this highlights the fact that women play such an important role in society, and more importantly, within the environmental and sustainability space.
Good afternoon and welcome to 3 Talk with me, Nolene Maolwana-Sango. The Ecologic Awards, which took place last night, recognized and rewarded those individuals, communities and municipalities who are making a significant contribution toward creating an ecologically sustainable society and environment. Today, we'll be joined by some of the winners from the awards ceremony who have produced products and services that have caused the least damage to the earth and its ecosystem. To tell us more about the Ecologic Awards, welcome Enviropedia Publishing Editor, David Perry-Davies. Welcome, David. Once again, David. The Ecologic Awards, what are they in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, empowering people to participate in looking after their own environment. You know, the fact is governments cannot do it alone. We're witnessing that worldwide. Environmental organizations, as much as I love them, don't have the financial power to do it. So it comes down to people. I mean, if we go back to it, apartheid was changed by people power. We need nothing less than that right now. We need people power to change things.
A lot of, and I asked you the same question last year when you were in to talk about the Ecologic Awards, and I was asking whether we as South Africans are actually getting behind the ecologic wheel as much as we. It's a year down the line, and are we seeing more houses or more homes being creative in terms of trying to save this earth?
Yes and no, Nolene. I mean, if we look back, the world's leaders got together in 1992 in Rio. It was called the Rio Earth Summit. And back then they identified all the environmental problems that we are facing today. What's changed since then? Not enough. Not enough in terms of the proportion of the problem that we're facing. So that led me to start questioning what I'm doing. I've been publishing the Enviropedia since 2000, and before I published the last edition, I said, let me do a reality check. Is this thing working? And the answer is no, it's not, because if it was working, then we'd have people behaving in a very different way. That led me to say, well, why is it not working? Is it because people don't care? I don't believe that. Is it because they don't know? They do know. Certainly the 20% of people who are consuming the 80% of the world's resources, they do know. What came to me in a blindingly obvious flash was that we've been treating the symptoms. You don't catch rhino poaching like you catch flu. You don't catch littering like you catch a cold. Littering and rhino poaching and these other environmental horrors that we're seeing at the moment are the result of action, which are the result of the way we're thinking. And that is why the Ecologic Awards are all about our thinking. It's about ecologic. So no, we haven't been getting good enough results. We're now changing the tack and saying we've got to address the thinking behind it. That's what the Ecologic is really about. We're judging people on that thinking. When
you call for entry, or when you go out looking for ecological warriors, I know you've got a category which is particularly specific, ecologic, but when in its entirety, I'd like to say, when you go out and look for these warriors who are fighting to create a better universe, how do you go about it?
Well, firstly, thanks to yourselves. I mean, the call goes out via SABC3, and we get a lot of entries from that source. But also, of course, the Enviropedia is South Africa's primary network of environmental organizations, so we put it out through them. And I've got to say to you, we have got some wonderful people and wonderful inventions taking place. And I can't remember who said it, but somebody, I think it was Margaret Mead, who said, never fear about your numbers, because generally major change only happens led by a very few people. And we've got a very few people here this evening who are making major changes in what we do, how we do it. These are eco-warriors, eco-angels, and these are leading lights. It was so stimulating receiving the entries and seeing how much is being done, despite mass apathy, but there's a lot being done.
Put these awards into context. Put these eco-angels, eco-warriors into context. What kind of people are we talking about?
So diverse, so diverse, ranging from school kids who are highly motivated through to business people who are primarily financially motivated, but who recognize that working with nature, they make more profit and it's good for nature, through to communities who, forgive this term, but I can only say they were derelict communities who pulled up themselves by their own bootstraps and changed their community. Phenomenal leadership. So who is it? It's across board, but it's individual leaders that are stepping up and saying, not look at me, I'm a hero, but saying, this is not good enough, there is a better way of doing it, let's find it.
Yeah.
So it's lovely.
How do you go about judging them? Because if you have thousands and thousands of entries and all of them doing good work, how do you then filter it down? This
is where, again, the ecological awards are different to pretty well any other awards. Most other awards, if you were judging, for example, a water awards, they would judge it quantitatively, how much water was saved. What we're doing is we have got 7 principles of ecologic, and they are value-driven. So we judge them. One of the first ecologic values is this thing long-term or short-term? Then we look at it, is it holistic or is it specialized? Is it Ubuntu? Is it looking after our community or is it looking after primarily the entity itself? So these are the 7 criteria by which we judge them. It levels the playing field as well, because it means that one organization may save thousands of gallons of water by simply changing one tap. But the winner doesn't turn out to be that organization. It turns out to be this little guy who's had a bright idea. He says, there's a lot of waste tires around here, and we're a poor community. Let's take these tires, bury them in the ground with a plastic foil underneath, and we grow our vegetables in that, because that retains all the water. We don't lose it. So what we're doing now is we're saving waste, creating food for the community, and all benefit. That was the winner, as opposed to the organization that saved thousands, but it was primarily motivated for their own financial interest. So it's a different judging criteria, and it's ecological. It's those 7 criteria of ecologic.
Let's come back to the book that you publish. I thought this year it was going to be blue. I don't know why.
It doesn't come out every year, Nolene. We can't afford to do that.
You said that, yes. Yeah. You said that. Oh, okay.
So it comes out every few years, but the internet version is rolling and changing all the time. That's wonderful. We can get new innovations from people who are doing things. We can add that on the internet version.
Okay.
So that's the main live wire.
So this book, the aim is for a novice like me,
yes,
who's able, and for a business person who's already into the ecologic way of thinking. It is for communities. It's for everybody, basically.
It's a functional tool. Basically, what you've got in the front there is an A to Z of environmental subjects, but short, brief explanations. That is then linked to a directory of the organization. So you can read up waste management, 1 page, but it leads you to the organizations involved. So that's the 2 parts of the Enviropedia. The 3rd part in the middle is thought leadership. If this is the way the world is, how could the world be?
Yeah.
Because this is another of the ecologic principles. Nolene, do you remember when you first started driving? And the driving instructor says to you, drive straight ahead, but don't hit the poles. What happens? Probably hit the poles. I hit the poles, because you're focusing on the poles. To get past the poles, you've got to put them in your peripheral vision and look at something straight ahead. That's what the ecological awards are about. And what the thought leadership in here is about is painting a picture, an inspirational picture of the world that can be. We can have beautiful cities with waterways, walkways, beautiful buildings, fast, sexy cars that are non-polluting. We can have that. If we put that vision up there for people to go to, we'll stop hitting the pillars of doom and gloom that we're currently hitting. Too many greenies and environmentalists are in this doom and gloom paradigm.
And at the end of the day, we as individuals, we as communities have to play our role. It's easy to say David must do it. It's easy to say municipalities have to do it. It's easy to say government. We need to play, even if it's a little part. Don't litter. Very simple, but we still do it. So we've got to play a role. David, thank you very much. Looking forward to next year's Ecological Awards.
Thank you so much for having us.
If you have any comment on the Ecological Awards, our lines are open. 086 2233 303 or tweet me, Nolene3Talk. When we return, I'm joined by the winners from the Ecologic Company Awards.